Where do you live?
Durango.
Ooh, cool. I heard awesome things about Durango.
Yeah, it's a great town.
Okay, we good? All right, he'll give us all right. Jim just did this to me. I'm assuming that's some kind of sign. So this one's the one you want to look at when you're saying directly things about the, yeah, for the campaign and all that stuff. That's the one.
Okay.
5, 4.
Hey, I'm Elisa Parker. We're broadcasting from the Wild and Scenic Film Fest Media Lounge. We've been meeting with some incredible, extraordinary action heroes, as I like to call them. And it's true, Sinjin. Yeah, you see yourself. We're all everyday action heroes, especially for you guys that are taking the leap. And you know, Wild and Scenic also helps serve as that platform to help amplify these stories and voices. And of course, the people who are like producing these films and distributing them are such a key part to that. I'm excited to have Sinjin Eberle here with us. 3 films, Sinjin, 3 films. So we have Milk and Honey. We're going to hear more about that too with Justin. Wild President and Native Waters. So first, welcome too.
Thank you.
Good to have you back here. I know you were joining us last night at the reception. So tell us briefly about the 3 films.
Let's start with The Wild President. So The Wild President is a short film made in partnership with NRS, Northwest River Supplies. And the director on that film is Will Stoffer Norris. And Will is here as well, as is Eli Spiegel, who also worked on the film. The Wild President features President Jimmy Carter and his efforts when he was governor to actually designate the Chattooga River as wild and scenic. And so it's a great film. It's a great conversation with him. There's some historical reference. The film, The Important Places, a couple years ago featured Doug Woodward was the dad featured in that film. Doug Woodward and one of American River's founders, Claude Terry, all came together with President Carter, not only to encourage him to designate or support the designation of the Chattooga River as wild and scenic, but also basically changed Carter's life because he learned how to paddle, and he did the first ascent of this one.
Jimmy Carter was kayaking.
He was open deck canoeing.
Wow.
And so Carter actually has the first descent of this rapid on the Chattooga, and it's a pretty amazing story. And of course, the best lines are Carter saying, it was in those moments where he realized the power of a wild river, and he realized that these places are so important, and it gave him the impetus not only as governor, but then when he was president, he designated dozens of wild and scenic rivers and hundreds of thousands of square miles of land. And so
that brings up a good point too, Sinjin, because I think, was it Teddy Roosevelt too that went to I don't know if it was Yosemite or one of the parks he went to, and I mean, like Yellowstone, to be engaged in that. And it's so important to get out there.
For sure.
Because that's how we really have that whole embodied experience about a place.
Yeah. So interviewing President Carter in the presidential library was absolutely a thrill.
That would be a highlight. What was one of the
amazing.
Yeah, so tell us about that. Like, what were one of your big takeaways from that experience?
My biggest takeaway is how wonderful President Carter is. And even at 92, and he's had some significant health problems, he is healthy and vibrant. And I was expecting to have to be quiet in my tone, to have to be very understanding with the interview because he's 92 years old. No way. He's sharp as a tack, great humor. He was very soothing to me as a nervous young interviewer who doesn't do this for a living. He knew where I wanted to go. He gave me the answers that I'd hoped for. It was a marvelous experience.
How cool. I mean, even just to get access.
Yeah.
I mean, you were like, wow.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, we had 30 minutes. So it was, when he walks in the door, the clock starts.
You got to go. That's awesome. That's really cool. And then Native Waters.
So Native Waters also is part of our efforts for the Wild and Scenic anniversary in 2018. Native Waters is a film that features a Tesuque Pueblo member in northern New Mexico whose life, whose economy, whose recreation, everything depends on the wild and scenic Rio Grande River in Rio Grande del Norte National Monument. And it's really sweet because what they do, this family, this community, takes people down the river, takes tourists down the river, and shows them the ways of these people who have been in this area for thousands of years. You know, we think about America as this old country with many generations. It's not. There's only 2 or 3 or 4 generations here. These people have been there for thousands of years, and it's a really compelling, really nice story. Also short. It's only about 7 or 8 minutes long, and it was produced by Dana Romanoff and Amy Marquis, who are National Park Experience, and they've had films here. They have a film
Amy's
here.
Been here.
They have a film here this weekend also called Canyon Song, which is really nice. And so a wonderful experience. They just did a really great job with that film.
What, yeah, I mean, just and even thinking about the experience for yourself and being part of some of these experiences. We were talking last night about the theme being the edge, being at the edge. What's a moment for you when you were at the edge and you had to take that leap?
With regard to these films or in general?
And could be in general. We could
Well,
get personal
yeah,
on it.
I don't know that I want to go there. I would say the experience setting up the interview with President Carter. We were given an hour and a half in the presidential conference room to set up, and we were told when that door opens, he's going to walk through that door. When that door opens, you have 30 minutes.
Wow.
Clock starts. And so, you know, I'm reviewing my notes and preparing for the interview, and we have 3 guys setting up all the cameras, and they're getting all the lighting ready, and, you know, working and reworking and reworking. And we know that the minute that door opens, we better be ready.
You got to be ready to go.
And so, you know, 10 minutes before he's supposed to walk in, I go put my suit coat on and make sure my tie looks good, and I want to look presidential for him. And 5 minutes to go, the guys start, we need to change the f-stop on one of these lenses, and they start popping lenses off, and they're starting to clean things, and I hear the door jiggle, and he walks in the door, and all of us were like, oh no, and because now the clock's running and the cameras aren't ready. And he walked in the room, and he smiled and looked around, and he said, well, what's going on in here, guys? And everybody just took a huge breath of relief and just was like, okay, we're going to be all right. Mic'd him up, sat him down. I sat down with him, did the interview. Beautiful. It was perfect.
That's awesome. What a great experience. With Native Waters and that trip they do, so can anyone go do that trip?
Yeah.
So how do we, I mean, it sounds fascinating. So where do they take off from, and how do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I didn't go on that film expedition. So
or what is it called again? Because it sounds fascinating.
It's called the Native Waters Feast and Float.
Okay.
Is the actual name of the trip. Los Rios River Runners is the company that runs that trip. And yeah, I mean, there's rock art all along the side of the river, and you're looking at thousands of years of history through the lens of this family who's been doing this for a long time.
That's really cool. Tell us about the campaign and what we can all do to take action and get involved, because that's what it's about right now. It's like everyday citizens getting involved and stepping up.
So in 2018 is the 50th anniversary of the Wild and Scenic Rivers Act. We are collecting 5,000 stories, and we are going to protect 5,000 new miles of wild and scenic rivers across the country. Out of the nearly 3 million miles of rivers across the country, only about 13,000 miles are protected under the Wild and Scenic Rivers Act. So we want to protect, in celebration of the 50th anniversary, 5,000 more miles. So you can go to AmericanRivers.org, or you can go to 5,000 miles, 5000miles.org, and make your story heard. 5,000miles.org isn't up yet, but AmericanRivers.org certainly is, and available.
Cool.
And then Justin will talk about
we will
milk
talk
and honey
about
later.
Milk and honey later on today. Thanks so much, Sinjin, for coming by and for being part of the festival. And I'm always inspired with all of the stories that we hear, and it's so important. Like, I mean, part of this is that you can make a difference too. And a lot of folks here, we have some filmmakers who are doing this for the very first time, and some who are like veterans and been doing this for what seems like a lifetime. So wherever it is, step out at the edge and maybe just go a little bit farther, and that's where that magic happens.
For sure.
So you got to go out there.
Push the envelope.
Push the envelope. I'm Melissa Parker. It's the Wild and Scenic Film Fest, and we'll be right back. Thanks so much, Sinjin.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I could have kept time better if I knew there was a time limit.
Oh, no, you were all good. No, that was great.